Hello and welcome to Granada Reports, live with the latest across the Northwest.
Hello, thanks for joining us on the programme this evening.
Our little miracle, the pioneering cell therapy that saved his mum and helped bring little Walter into the world.
I was literally dying and it saved my life, so if it can do that to as many people as possible, it is so important.
Will Partygate affect how the North West votes on Thursday? A special report.
From chasing corrupt cops in line of duty to a celebration of Liverpool's rich Irish history, we talk to Adrian Dunbar.
The rain in Spain falls mainly on the fans. There for Liverpool's big game in the Champions League tonight. We have the latest from Villarreal.
And how Myra became top dog among the fans after some amazing scenes at Everton's football ground. Well, first, the young mum who almost died of cancer, who's become among the first in the country to give birth after a pioneering treatment that saved her life.
Sammy Gray feared she'd never see her little girl grow up, and the idea of having another child seemed completely impossible. But revolutionary cell therapy trained her body to fight the cancer and made sure her story had the happiest of outcomes, baby Walter.
Sammy, who's from Blackpool, says that would never have happened without the dedication of the medical team at the Christie Hospital in Manchester. Tasha Kachiri has this report.
Putting baby Walter down for a nap, something that Sammy and her fiancé Daly thought would never happen.
I don't even remember coming down the stairs and telling Daly, like, it's a blur. It was like, is this actually happening after everything I've been through? Like, am I actually pregnant?
Sammy Gray was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, a blood cancer, just 6 weeks after giving birth to her first child, Harper. She was just 21 years old. The cancer was so aggressive that she quickly ran out of options.
I thought I was going to die, and all I could think about was just, like, I can't die because I've got a daughter that can't be on her own without a mum. That's all I was thinking.
Sammy was offered CAR-T cell therapy by the specialists at the Christie in Manchester. CAR-T is a new type of immunotherapy available on the NHS. It involves reprogramming the patient's own immune system cells to target and destroy the cancer.
Prior to the advent of this treatment, unfortunately, the majority of patients with relapsed disease were destined to die from their lymphoma. And what we know with CAR-T therapy, and what we've seen in Sammy's case is a great case in point here, is that this is truly transformational. It offers the prospects for remission and potentially long-term survival for patients that would otherwise have had an extremely poor prognosis.
Now Sammy is cancer-free. But the chemotherapy and radiotherapy that she underwent before CAR-T was so harsh that doctors had told her she may never be able to have another baby.
You know, at 21, you expect to have maybe at least another child, and to be told that, I was angry, like, I was really angry. I wanted more children, so it meant the world to me to have, you know, another baby. And I wanted, you know, one of each if I could, and just to complete the family as well. After everything we'd been through, I feel like we deserved that.
Walter was born in February. What the therapy has given Sammy and her family is more time and the opportunity to live a normal life.
You know, I was literally dying and it saved my life. So if it can do that to as many people as possible, it is so important, because there's people out there like me, maybe that have a family or haven't even started a family yet, that won't be able to, you know, have that chance. So this treatment gives them that chance to have the normal life.
Tasha Kachiri, ITV News, Blackpool.
Yeah, so lovely to see them together there. Well, let's move on to more of the day's news now. More than £16,000 has so far been raised in memory of Katie Kenyon, whose body was found in Lancashire at the weekend. The money raised will go towards her funeral and supporting her children. A man has been charged with her murder.
A man's died in Merseyside after a fire at a flat in Birkenhead. Emergency services were called to Lawrence Deacon Court on St Anne Street last night. Fire crews found the body of a man at the scene. A post-mortem will take place.
Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall, has been in the North West to visit a special photography exhibition at Manchester Central Library. It features portraits of domestic abuse survivors. She also took part in a pre-Jubilee celebration at a homeless charity in Ashton-under-Lyne. you might have noticed all those leaflets through the letterbox, so you probably don't need me to tell you that on Thursday, this Thursday, voters across the North West go to the polls for the local elections. Now, this is the really important job of choosing hundreds of councillors, those people who work really hard to make sure our local services run as well as they possibly can.
But we're also only 2 years away from the next general election, and these results are a chance for national parties to see how they're doing across the former Red Wall.
Our political correspondent Alicia McNally has been finding out whether wider issues will affect how people vote.
Pendle lies in the shadow of a centuries-old scandal, an infamous tale of rumour and religion, plotting and politics, the home of the Pendle Hill witch trials, where 10 people were accused and killed for their alleged crime. It's a story which still leaves its mark all over this borough, but now another kind of investigation could help shape the political landscape when we go to the polls on the 5th of May.
His fictional party was a business meeting. And it was not socially distanced.
So is the Partygate scandal just another meaningless witch hunt, or the Prime Minister's biggest mistake? Well, when it comes to judging the political fallout, the local elections are the first major trial, and it's places like Pendle that will return the verdict. The council here is the only one in the North West where the Conservatives have majority control, one of their big success stories of 2021. But with a third of the seats now up for grabs and all parties fighting for them, the big question is, will local people base their vote on local issues, or could the Partygate scandal change who they choose?
I think he would, to be honest. Well, I just think he needs to be brought down a peg or two. You know, you can't, like I said, you can't tell people what to do when you're not doing it yourself. You know, it's not right, is it really?
Well, I mean, it wasn't the local politicians that joined the party, was it? You know, the poor guys up here, whoever they are, they're just trying to do a job at the end of the day. And I just wish them all well, to be honest. Whoever can do the job and keep the promises will be the one that will get my vote, but they've got to convince me.
It's hard because I don't believe any of them. They tell you one thing and then when they get in, they don't do it.
Is there anything in particular you'll be looking for from the party you choose?
I think we need more for the younger children, teenagers and things. We used to have a lot in this area, but there's nothing for them nowadays.
Whichever party ends up in control will face some major challenges. The gap between the council's income and what it will need to spend is expected to add up to £8 million over the next 3 years. Budgeting balancing acts that will be playing out across the North West. But Partygate is not the only undercurrent of these local elections, where so much has changed in the last 12 months. Here in Trafford, for instance, it's Labour defending their majority on the council. It was one of the party's high watermarks of last year's local elections. They gained 4 seats. But some have put that down to the so-called Burnham bounce. The Greater Manchester Mayor was lockdown defender and king of the North. His reputation was flying high. Since then, pandemic politics has moved on. The new wrangle between the combined authority and the government, the Greater Manchester Clean Air Zone. A row that's hit certain election leaflets too. But is it the driving concern of voters in Sale?
I know it is difficult for taxi drivers and lorry drivers and van drivers and people who have businesses. I totally get that, and I think there should be enough kind of support in place for them to carry on with their businesses. But things that matter to me most locally in the area, basically Bobby's on the beat working in the communities, and if Labour or Tory councillors will support that, then that will get my vote.
I think that's important to me when thinking about the local elections, is that whoever's in charge is thinking about all the independent businesses. I think it's nice just to have all these nice coffee shops and play centres and stuff to go to.
Are they going to fight for whatever needs I have regarding my child and education, mainly being education for me?
I'd really like more support for bikes. A lot of the bike paths are totally blocked by cars. And that's another issue. So many cars parked on the streets.
You need somebody who's going to protect, the social issues, particularly around, and particularly in a mixed constituency like Trafford, where you've got quite a range of quite high-end wealth and then poverty at the other end as well. That's important for me.
A midpoint between general elections, with the Northwest a major battleground, these results will help show the Conservatives and Labour if their messages are landing. But the Liberal Democrats, Greens and other parties are also looking to build their council bases in an increasingly colourful political landscape that was the former Red Wall. Leisha McNally, ITV News.
Yeah, big day Thursday, so do get voting, people. For more information about the local elections, with our list of what battlegrounds to look out for, head to our website, the usual address, itv.com/Granada.
Yeah, lots of people working very hard on the doorsteps on that one. OK, still to come tonight.
The sporting farewell, that was a real family affair.
And a bit of a grey old day today. It certainly was up at Arnside here. The sea looking like a mill pond. Not much wind around. I'll have the all-important weather forecast later in the programme.
Well, next tonight, to a cultural highlight which draws on Liverpool's rich Irish history. The city's university is home to the largest Irish studies department in the UK. And this weekend it's staging a festival dedicated to one of the country's most famous authors, Samuel Beckett.
Yeah, and we all know how the Irish love to have a bit of fun. It'll be one of the first in the country and has been led by a face that you might just recognise. Victoria Grimes went to find out more.
It's a city that's proud of its Irish heritage. And now Liverpool's preparing to celebrate the works of one of its most famous authors for the first time outside Ireland. And who better to create the content than one of the Emerald Isle's most famous exports?
Jesus, Mary and Joseph and the wee donkey, can we just move this thing along before it drives us all round the bloody bend?
Line of Duty star Adrian Dunbar has been instrumental in bringing the festival to Liverpool.
The thing about Beckett is that it's wonderful reading it, but to engage with it, actually come and see the plays, is a really wonderful experience. And I think that's what we're finding when we put the plays on in my hometown of Enniskillen and so forth. A lot of people come who may have not engaged with Beckett before, and they really get quite a lot out of it.
And so you're going to be starring in these plays as well, Adrian?
No, I'm directing.
Directing.
I'm curating and directing fabulous plays.
Infinite emptiness will be all around you. All the resurrected dead of all the ages wouldn't fill it. And there you'll be, like a bit of grit in the middle of the steppe. Yes, one day you'll know what it is. You'll be like me. Get your head around that.
One of the 20th century's most celebrated playwrights, Samuel Beckett, won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1969. The festival will feature some of his most rarely performed works. Well, Samuel Beckett's known for the dark themes within his writings, so it seems quite appropriate that some of the plays for the festival will be performed in unusual venues, like here at the very atmospheric Toxteth Reservoir.
The Irish connection, the cultural familiarity with things Irish is very obvious in Liverpool. And the Institute of Irish Studies at the University of Liverpool is fairly unique in being one of the few institutes of Irish studies in an English university. And obviously with the Irish connection in Liverpool, it has become very much a hub for developing cultural things, academic things around the city. So we're very proud as an institute to be able to bring this sort of event to Liverpool and to create a home for it.
So you're looking forward to it?
I'm looking forward to being back in the city here and having a good rattle around, seeing a few mates. And
having a good rattle around, does that mean having a good drink?
Yeah, well, it'll be having a bit of fun as well. You have a bit of fun. You come to Liverpool, come on, let's face it. Yeah. There will be discussions afterwards.
A debrief.
Like a debrief.
The festival runs from the 6th to the 8th of May. Organisers are hoping this will be the first of many. Victoria Grimes, ITV News, Liverpool.
Yeah, very thought-provoking. Please, they're going to have some fun as well. That wonderful, rich voice. I love that accent.
Well, I was going to say, I bet they're looking forward to having a few Irish whiskies or two.
I think, or a bit of the, actually I better not say that
bit
brand.
Of
We know exactly what we're thinking, but we're not going to say it. OK, time for sport now, the first of two really nerve-jangling nights of European football, Mike.
Yes, brace yourselves, this could be quite a couple of days. Two of our sides are fighting for a place in the Champions League final. By the end of tomorrow night, we could be looking at a Liverpool versus Manchester City final in Paris later this month. Both sides need to finish off their semi-finals first, starting tonight as Liverpool take a 2-0 lead to Villarreal in Spain. A win would see them into their third Champions League final in 5 seasons. David Chisnall reports.
The saying goes that the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain, but it's also been pouring on the Liverpool fans today, who've travelled out to watch the second leg of their side's Champions League semi-final with Spanish club Villarreal.
Such a team spirit, they all play for each other and they all seem to love each other, and that's what life's about.
I'm feeling pretty good. The weather's not bad for an English side, I don't think. Suits us well.
Confident sometimes, and then not. Yeah. So, yeah, it's one of them.
Coming in waves.
Yeah.
Kind of like the rain.
I love the liquid sunshine.
Well, Liverpool have a rich recent history in this competition and are looking to make it through to their third Champions League final in the last 5 seasons. Despite that success, their manager isn't getting complacent.
You never know if you will reach a semi-final again, if you ever have a chance again to go to the final. You never know. We have an exceptional team here, and nothing is for granted. You need luck in moments, all this kind of thing. So you better treat it carefully and be ready. But we will be ready. We really wanted to be where we are, and we want to go to the final.
You don't take these things for granted. You know that the 4 teams left in a Champions League campaign are always up there with the best teams in the world, so that's what we're up against. We're up against a team going away from home, always difficult as well. We're expecting their fans to be really pushing them on and making it difficult for us.
Well, what a difference a year makes. This time 12 months ago, Liverpool were battling to qualify for the Champions League. Now they're 2 games away from winning it as part of an unprecedented quadruple.
To be here now, we're second in the table, point off City, second leg of the Champions League semis, into a FA Cup final. Who can complain? This is a very special season for us all, and hopefully we'll be able to see it through, and come the end of May, hopefully we'll be in the history books again.
Well, this very northwest weather in Spain could be an omen as Liverpool look to play their part in what could be a first ever all Northwest European Cup final with Manchester City. David Chisnall, ITV News.
Well, tomorrow night, attention will turn to Manchester City. They are also in Spain for the second leg of their Champions League semi-final against the 13-time winners Real Madrid. City held their final training session in Manchester this morning before flying out to Madrid. They have a 4-3 lead after a thrilling first leg at the Etihad last week. At his press conference today, Pep Guardiola was asked if his side need to play better to go through.
Yeah, probably. We have to play better, but at the same time, I would like to tell you one thing. We can play much worse than we played, and we can win. So, and we cannot deny, anyone can deny my assessment is right. So nobody knows. Football is unpredictable.
Getting that winning feeling. FOW, sponsors of the Granada Sport Report.
And finally, to a sporting farewell like no other. Over the bank holiday weekend, Mike Ireland played his last game for Heaton Moor Rugby Club. And lining up alongside him in the pack were 7 of his sons. Sam, Dan, Joel, Matt, Luke, Steve and Tommy Ireland played alongside their dad in his final match before retirement. They made up the entire scrum.
That is a great story,
Amazing,
isn't it?
amazing.
Well, he might be stepping down, but he'll be cheering them on, Mike. Thank you.
He certainly will. Here's what's still to come on the ITV News at 6:30 with Mary.
Coming up in the programme, hailed a hero in Ukraine, but back home, more pressure for the PM. Boris Johnson received rapturous applause as he addressed the Ukrainian parliament. But here, there are more questions over what can be done to ease the cost of living crisis.
So you acknowledge you are not doing everything you can.
There is more that we can do.
Also tonight, a woman's legal right to an abortion is under threat in the United States. And find out how this man plans to turn around the England men's cricket fortunes. Do join me for those stories and more at 6:30.
Well, back here, the dog, who's head and shoulders above the rest and ended up the total star of the Everton game at the weekend. All the more amazing because her owners aren't even football fans. They just happened to be walking past the ground when they became separated.
Jasmine Priest and Reece Van Aston Kerrigan found it impossible to get Myra through the fans outside Goodison Park.
So, she's rather large, but they picked her up and carried her above their heads like a sphinx, an image that, not surprisingly, has now been seen on social media all over the world.
Tim Scott takes up the story.
Like some stately Egyptian sphinx, Myra the dog is carried regally past Goodison Park and into football folklore, because these scenes ahead of Everton's game with Chelsea on Sunday have gone viral, and Myra is now an internet sensation.
We've got over 3,500 followers on Twitter now.
In 24 hours.
And we've got over 1,000 followers on Instagram, so it's gone up by a good 800 followers. Everybody wants it at the next game, everyone's sharing love, sending pictures of their dogs. Even walking through the park now to come meet yous, like we got stopped 3 times. People is at the Everton dog giving a stroke.
Reece and Jasmine are thrilled to bits for the attention that's been heaped on Myra since the Everton game. They're not even football fans, but they're just happy for the joy that those pictures have brought.
So when all this was happening, what was going through your heads?
I just wanted to get home. I was saying to people, excuse me, I'm just trying to go home, excuse me, I'm just trying to go home. And people were moving like out the way, but there was only so far they could move because there was everyone around them as well. But as soon as she was up in the air, there was a path.
What difference did carrying a sphinx-like through the crowd actually make then?
I think everyone just seen the dog up in the air, and obviously we don't know a lot about football, but there's a lot of history between dogs and Everton. So everyone just parted and just seen this dog in the air, and it was just this mighty uproar that people had never seen before. There'd never been a dog carried through a crowd before at a match as far as I'm aware.
Myra is of course oblivious to the fuss she's created, but with Everton winning that game against Chelsea, she's become a kind of mascot to the fans. Jasmine and Reece are now in discussions with the club about doing community work with Myra, and don't be surprised if she pops up outside Goodison again. Tim Scott, ITV News, Liverpool.
Yeah, she was remarkably chilled, wasn't she? Well, we thought Myra had no competition on the cute dog stakes until you started sending your pictures in.
Yeah, we only have time for 3 here, but Archie the pug made a very striking best man for Jack McLaren at his wedding.
This little cupcake also stole our hearts. This is Molly, who helps to brighten up the day for Dr. Anthony Kearns, who works in Blackpool Hospital.
And finally, 11-year-old Buster, because there are few things in life as cute as a senior dog who always takes the best seat in the house.
Buster looks like a real rascal. John's got the weather.
He's cooked up a storm and now's going to scrape the fat into the bin instead of the sink. My guy.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Hang on, was that fish?
Hello there. Well, today wasn't much to get excited about weather-wise, was it? A bit of a damp start here down at Bolton and cloudy old day at Potshrigley as well. But here's the rape flowers brightening things up nicely at Winwick down in Cheshire. But over the coming days on the weather chart, well, it's bands of rain really moving in from the west. Nothing too heavy, nothing too dramatic. But once that area of rain moves through on Friday, behind that high pressure bills for the weekend. So the weekend should at least stay dry. But through this evening and overnight tonight, cloudy skies producing outbreaks of rain, some quite persistent rain, the overnight low around 10 Celsius. There is sun times for tomorrow, up in the morning at 5:30, setting again about 8:45 tomorrow evening. A pretty damp start in the morning, some rain around, lots of surface water and spray, mist and fog up on the tops, but things will brighten up slowly but surely tomorrow afternoon. We'll see a little bit of sunshine coming through, especially down the Lancashire coast, over the Isle of Man there, but still with an odd shower, especially over the Pennines, but generally brightening up and temperatures a little bit higher than today at around 15 Celsius, and it should stay dry and bright through tomorrow evening as well. Now on Thursday, a bright enough start with some sunshine around, but a little bit of cloud will move in during the course of the day, so going downhill somewhat on Thursday, but it should stay dry. I think top temperatures around 16 Celsius. That drop of rain coming through on Friday, and then for the weekend it's going to be dry and bright with some reasonable temperatures. Enjoy your evening.
United Utilities sponsors ITV Granada weather.
Bob!
Amy!
Yeah, watch out for it raining cats and dogs, and keep your dog pictures coming in because we're loving them. And cats too, if you want to, in the interest
Rabbits,
of balance.
gerbils, chinchillas, chickens.
Anything. We want to see them.
Bye-bye.
Chinchillas.